on, guys? In this video we're going to talk a little bit about some of the tips for riding a big adventure bike, or really any big motorcycle. Not necessarily like a cruiser bagger, but big as in like the tall motorcycles, right? This is a video for anyone really, but more specifically, I'm a bit shorter of a person. I'm 5'9", 5'10", with a 30-inch inseam. I know a lot of people can be quite intimidated to hop on a big old adventure bike or any, big dirt bike. So in this video we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the tips about how to handle a bike like this, and how to get real comfortable with it so you can ride it just as well as, quite frankly, any other bike. Let's just pull right over here. Well, of course a car decides to come down here now. I never come down here any other time. Alright, well, the first thing let's talk about is how to get on a big old bike like this. So the way they teach you in MSF and whatever is always get on this side, right? You gotta have one foot on the ground and swing the other leg. That's not really gonna work for a short person on this type of bike, right? Trying to get your leg, it's like really awkward. You feel like you're like climbing all over the bike. What you actually want to do is come over to this side, put one foot on this peg, right, hold in the front brake, and then you're gonna just swing your leg over on top, down the other side. It's really that simple. I know a lot of people might be a little bit concerned about putting all the weight on this one side of the bike. Really not a big deal. Right, like you're concerned you're gonna tip the bike over if you put all the weight on this side. Look, this is literally all of my weight, 180 some pounds, 185 about. This is all my weight on this side, and this bike is so big that the weight is still more to that side, right? I'm 180 some pounds, the bike is like 700 some pounds. So the reason you do it on that side is because it's easier to get your leg over and get on top of the bike. If you're coming from the other side, you're going up, right? But if you're coming from this way, put your foot down, step up, and then you're bringing your leg down to the other side as opposed to having to bring it up and over. Yeah, another difficult thing that I was trying to figure out when I first got this bike was, how do you move it around, right? Because basically any other bike I know, you just lift it up, you move it around with the handlebars. This bike, not always, right? I kind of feel like you always want to cover the front brake when you're moving a bike around, but you gotta use more of your body to move around these big bikes, especially when you're a small person. So usually it has some sort of grips on the back, and you have these luggage racks back here, so you can go ahead, lift the bike up from both sides here. And then what I usually do is I put my lower back or butt against one of these, usually both hands on the steering wheel, and then just lean your weight back. You can move it back that way. Alright, the third tip here, right? Center stand. Almost any of these bikes are going to come with a center stand. To get the center stand can be a little bit tricky. You want to get the bike upright. This might not be the best place to do it because it's the sand, but you basically want to get one hand on the back, one hand on the front, right foot on the peg here, and you just have the bike upright, and you're going to put all your weight onto it while moving it back. Yep, that's not going to work right here because it's just going into the sand, but typically if you're on a more solid surface, that would not be a problem. So aside from that, right, a lot of the problems people have with these bikes is just the intimidation factor of getting on one of them and moving it around before the bike's even turned on. Basically just went over all the stuff that you need to practice and get used to. But now that we have it started, let's go on to the 4th and 5th tips that I've come up with here. So if you have power modes, first of all, put it in the lowest power mode. I'm not going to do that right now because, like, I don't need to. I'm not actually practicing right now, but if you are practicing this when you're doing your first times riding, you want to put it into the low power mode just to have it be a little more forgiving, because I mean this bike is 150, 160 horsepower. So to gain more confidence in actually riding the bike here, you just really, you want to work on slow speed maneuvers, right? Look, that wasn't even good on my part. So you want to practice your tight turns, you want to practice slow speed balancing down to 3-4 miles per hour, working on that clutch control. Alright, and sort of if you can come to a place like this, any sort of road where there's not going to be a whole lot of people and people aren't going to bother you, and just work on the clutch control, just work on going real slow, because it is a big bike. Usually these bikes are pretty top heavy, but once you get the hang of going real slow, especially if you can go over sort of a little bit of rocky terrain, that is even a bonus. But this is the type of exercise that doing this enough is going to translate basically to everything else in riding. That's why I tell anyone when they're starting with any bike, basically, this is what you want to do. But even if you have experience riding other bikes, it's like you want to take it back to baby steps when you get a big bike like this. Big ADV bike, big sport touring bike, and just slow it down and go real slow. You want to get that feeling of the friction zone on the clutch, get the feeling of going real slow, get the feeling of the balance of the bike, because you should be able to turn the bike around right within, like, whatever they say, 1 parking spot, 2 parking spots. And that's going to feel impossible at first, but I assure you that it is possible. But you need to practice to get to that point. A little bit of throttle to get up there. Yep. See, if you can move around, if you can move one of these big bikes around with ease at slow speed, then you're going to be fine. You can take almost any sort of difficult maneuver at slow speed. You can't necessarily do it at high speed, but once you get the slow speed stuff really well mastered, then doing stuff at a higher speed is going to be much easier. Yeah, you see that turning, that was a pretty good turn actually. This is just a really narrow road, but working on turns like that, and again, I know this is like baby steps, right? But I'm telling you guys, this is what you have to do when you get one of these big bikes. Frankly, I could use to work on my turns even more. So I'll probably work on that some more later on. And a very last thing here is make sure the bike is set up in the best way, best configuration that can be for you, right? Again, I'm shorter, so basically all of these big bikes have some sort of configuration, like the BMW GS Adventure models. They all have adjustable seat, so you can get the seat lower. They also come with low suspension models, so it's actually like significantly lower. But on the Multistrada, you can get a lower seat. That's what I have on here now. I found one on eBay for like half the price of what one would be brand new. And I think this is basically brand new. Looks like better condition than the regular seat that I had on here. Get yourself a lower seat if you can't find one. Like, I'm not sure if Kawasaki, if the KLRs come with them, but you know, you can always find an aftermarket brand, probably Seat Concepts or Saddlemen. You can get them to make you a lower seat. You want it to fit whatever type of body type you are, so that you can handle the bike the best. Because it's just having a bike that doesn't fit you, just makes it that much more difficult. Like if I was trying to ride this bike with a tall Ducati tall seat, that would be a pain in the ass. Another point here, going into my topic about making the bike fit you, right? Adjust the clutch lever to suit wherever your hand, I guess I have sort of, maybe not the biggest hands, but so you can adjust basically on all these bikes the clutch and brake levers, how far out they come. You just usually pull it out here, and then there's some sort of adjustment knob there that you screw and get it to be where it's most comfortable for you. Same on the brake lever. Do that with the brake lever, right there. Adjust it. Slightly less important, get yourself a windscreen that is going to fit your height, so that you're not getting blasted by the wind, or whatever sort of height you're looking for. That's really about it. I mean, there's a few small modifications you can do to these bikes, right? I don't think a lowering kit or anything like that, unless you're getting like the BMW GSA, which like can come stock lowered. But I typically wouldn't lower any of the bikes. But I think you can set them up, certainly for a shorter rider or a taller rider. Set it up however it's going to fit you best. And you know, the whole point of this video is just to basically say, if you think that you can't ride one of these bikes, that's not true. You definitely can. Like, this is a big old bike. Yeah, it takes some experience, it takes some practice. If you guys have any of your own tips that you recommend for riding a big bike like this, please do let me know in the comment section down below. If you made it this far in the video, well, you are one of the 1% of people who made it this far in the video, according to my YouTube analytics. So drop down below in the comments that you were part of the 1%. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Remember to ride safe out there, practice your riding, and be the best rider that you can be. Don't do stupid shit. Probably the best advice, probably the number one tip should just be, don't do stupid shit, right? Don't run from the cops. I think that's a good number one tip. Don't run from the cops. Appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. I'm trying to do videos every Friday and Monday, so if you want more videos like this on the beautiful Ducati, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below that you're part of the 1%, and I will see you guys in the next video. Ride safe.